Remember this racist cartoon that the New York Times posted when India did its Mars orbiter mission? And the theme of it was like, why is India sending missions into space when it could be using that money to feed the poor? And interestingly, more than 10 years later, I still get comments that are roughly like this. Why is India doing all this stuff when it should be feeding the poor? I'll tell you why, and I'll tell you how it does feed the poor. Okay, remember earlier this year when Ursula von der Leyen was the chief guest of India's Republic Day, and all the focus was on the India-EU trade deal? And I think this makes sense. It deserves all the praise, it's great. But let me tell you about an underappreciated moment at the Republic Day parade. And by that I mean the LRASM, the LRA SHM. Let's geek out about this thing for a second. Before LRASM, India's best missile was the BrahMos, a supersonic cruise missile jointly developed by India and Russia. It is the fastest supersonic cruise missile on Earth. No small feat. Difficult to stop even for the world's most advanced navies. It travels at Mach 3, and here's what it does to a ship. But it has a range of only 800 kilometers, giving it an A2AD, anti-access area denial, because it blocks access and prevents anyone from operating in your area, of only 800 kilometers, which makes its usefulness look something like this, or like this, with a couple of Navy strike groups wandering around the Indian Ocean. Still good, still giving you formidable control over the trade routes, which look like this, but somewhat local. Only 3 countries in the world had hypersonics. These travel at more than double the speed of a BrahMos and have ranges typically of more than 1,000 kilometers. And as always, that's the USA, Russia, and China. Well, what India chose to parade in front of the EU top military personnel, the LRASM, is India's entry into the Hypersonic Missile Club. It has a range of 1,500 kilometers and travels at Mach 10.
3, 2, 1, now.
And it's going to be inducted into the Indian Navy and coastal forces by 2028 to 2030 roughly. This takes India's A2AD capabilities from this with BrahMos to this with LRASM. What this signaled to the EU was that India alone, independent of any outside help or against any outside power, can protect those trade routes. This security and dependability factors into any trade deal, security relationship, strategic partnership. So why does India have a space program? For stuff like this, the carbon material that resists heat as a missile enters the atmosphere, the guidance system so that rockets and missiles can reach their target is now completely built in-house. So with India's space program, India can reach for the stars in more ways than one.